Okay, it's time for the Daily Take. Geraldo Rivera joins us each day. Not at this time, but usually about 45 minutes earlier. It's good to see you, Geraldo. We were watching the president together, I'm sure. To me, you know, there were 4 or 5 topics that stood out. I could run through them, and we'll talk about some of them probably a little bit later on. I actually want to start with crime in the cities with you, if that's okay, because that's what the purpose of the president's event was, to talk about this update on how they're doing. They talked about 8,000 arrests. And then the president said something interesting. He said he's going to recommend that they take a look at San Francisco. And the reason I say it's interesting is because in the last couple of days, the San Francisco Chronicle, as a matter of fact, yesterday had a headline saying that the homicide rate in San Francisco is on pace to be at its lowest level since the 50s. And Governor Gavin Newsom had just put out this big announcement about crime being down in San Francisco. Now today, President Trump says we're going to take a look at San Francisco. Your thoughts on how all this has been playing out?
Well, I think, first of all, it is undeniable that violent crime particularly, Connell, has been trending downward. It's always nice to be, on the right side of a big trend. I'm not saying that the FBI's involvement in some of this crime busting hasn't had an impact, but clearly they're playing in a favorable environment where, for whatever reason, the pandemic or whatever else was going on in American society, homicide was here, and now it's definitely trending down. Same with the fentanyl deaths. The border must have had some positive impact. I mean, stopping most dope comes carried by undocumented people or stuff in those trucks that carry the cargo of Mexico into the country. It is logical for me to assume that if you tighten border controls, you interdict fentanyl. Also, I think the word is getting out among the drug-using community that fentanyl will kill you, that they're not kidding, that it really does kill you. So I think that the FBI and Attorney General Bondi and Director Patel taking a victory lap fine. I'd much rather see the trends going that way. And it's in a winning, they say that success has many owners. Failure has very few. So I'm all for them, preening a bit and praising each other and patting each other on the back, because I'd much rather have a safer environment. But there is no doubt that this president, Connell, he has the thinnest skin of anybody I've ever known. There's a pettiness, a willingness to jump, and now they're winnowing out reporters that refuse to sign, loyalty pledges or
at the Pentagon, right?
It's just there's some stuff going on that's unnecessary. He's just coming off a triumph. He made peace, or at least the beginning of peace, in the Middle East, the roughest neighborhood on earth. He just take a deep breath, take a victory lap. Okay, great. Now let's deal with the next problem, rather than, oh, that one lied to me, and Jack Smith went through Barron Trump's drawers in the Mar-a-Lago when they raided for the documents and all the rest of that.
And we have reason to believe, excuse me, we have new reporting that John Bolton, sorry, Geraldo, I got something's caught in my throat. That's a great timing for things. But we have new reporting that John Bolton might be indicted as early as today. If not today, then maybe tomorrow. All right, so that, and you're right, I picked it up in the event. There's a lot of anger on Trump's side because everybody says, well, is he going after his political enemies? Bolton, of course, is former national security advisor. And he says, yeah, they raided my house in Florida. It was an illegal raid. And this is the raid on Bolton's house in Bethesda. And now this is, related to a classified documents investigation as far as we know. So, we'll see it on the merits if it happens. But that could happen today or tomorrow.
Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, indicted for a picayune mortgage discrepancy. James Comey for lying about whether or not he tipped somebody, tipped someone off on a story. And now John Bolton, and then the president asks us, or he asks the sycophantic reporters, the handful of sycophants in the room.
Well, that guy Brian is like Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, but be that as it may.
Yeah, right.
The guy he always calls
say, no, there's no political interference. all in the due course of justice that I went after John Bolton, this irrelevant character from another era. And the same with Comey, also obsolete and of a bygone era. Letitia James just had, she had her monumental judgment against the president thrown out. She probably couldn't win an election in New York. And to go after them, create martyrs of them, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not in the best interest of the country, I don't think.
One more, then we got to get at least one commercial break here. I haven't taken one in a while. The drug cartels. Okay, so this has been a big story, and we hear more and more about it. They went after another one, and Trump was asked about going after the drug cartels in Venezuela. He says these drug boats are fair game to strike. You've been relatively supportive, right, of this kind of campaign so far?
I still am.
Yeah.
First of all, 5 boats that we know of, 5 fast boats that we know of, have been taken out by air-to-surface missiles. 5 of them, and with the spectacular explosions, and with the numerous casualties, with 5 dead on this vessel, 11 on this one, and so forth and so on. I have no doubt, but that if there was a wrong target, you would have heard about it by now. You would have, if there was no dope and they were doing something legitimate, you would have heard about it. The fact is, the government of Venezuela and the Venezuelan authorities and the Venezuelan military have been totally infiltrated and penetrated by American intelligence. They are totally compromised. They're working for the Americans. They are tipping off. The one drug dealer wants the other one to get killed by the missile, and then this one wants the other one to be killed by the missile. So they tell American authorities, the fast boat leaving at 1100, going north by northeast, you can intercept it, so and so. And I think that the one thing that will cut down on drug smuggling and fast boats for now, at least from Venezuela to the east coast of the United States, is these people being blown up. Well, and I told you, and I've mentioned this before on this program, that I've seen the efforts against the enemies of the United States in South America. I know that they killed Raul Reyes, the man I interviewed, by missile, the biggest drug dealer in the Colombia axis. Yeah. They took him out with a missile during the Bush administration. It happens. Drug dealers beware. I have no problem with it, but they have to make sure that they get it right. I think most often they do. They have to, only miss once.
Thank you, Geraldo. As always, always love to get you on, which we did today. We'll see you again soon. The great Geraldo Rivera with the Daily Take.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.